Welcome to today's adventure. I'm Coco and I'll be your guide. We're about to go on a nature scavenger hunt. This scavenger hunt isn't about collecting things with our hands. Instead, we'll be using our eyes, ears, and imagination to explore the natural world around us. Whether you're outside in a park, looking out of a window, or just using your imagination, you can take part in this journey. As we go through this adventure, I will give you suggestions for things to talk to your baby about. The most important thing is that you and your baby are having fun. So you take the lead, and I'll be here by your side whenever you need me. Feel free to pause this video if you want to spend more time on a certain part, or because you or your baby have your own idea about where to take this adventure. Let's get started. Take a deep breath. What's the first thing you notice? Is it the smell of fresh air, the warmth of sunlight, or maybe the sound of birds in the distance? Now, look at your baby. What are they doing? What kind of mood do they seem to be in? I'll give you a moment to reflect on how you are both feeling and what that might mean for this playtime. What's your favorite thing about nature? Is it trees, the animals, or maybe just feeling the sun on your face? My favorite part is how it feels like time stops in a way. Like there's nowhere to be, nothing to do. It's so much easier to be present. Why don't you try telling your baby your favorite thing about nature? Now, ask your baby, what do you think we'll find today? Let's start by doing a big stretch, making ourselves as tall as we can, like a tree. Your baby loves to watch you move. Notice how they look at you as you stretch. All right, let's begin our scavenger hunt. I'll give you clues, and your job is to look around, either with your eyes or in your imagination, and find each item. What's the greenest thing you can find? What shade is it? Hunter green like a pine tree, or chartreuse like moss? Describe this green thing to your baby. Does this green thing bring any memories to your mind? If so, I'll give you a moment to share them with your baby. Pause the recording if you need more time. Here's a fun fact. Did you know that the Amazon rainforest produces 20% of the world's oxygen? It's actually called the lungs of the planet for that very reason. Tell your baby about this fact and check in on how they're doing. Do they seem interested in this adventure? You can always ask them, what do you want to do? Throughout this adventure, keep an eye on what your baby seems to be interested in, and feel free to join them in playing with whatever they're interested in at any time. Now, let's imagine that we're walking through a rainforest. Can you hear the rustling leaves? Feel the mist in the air? Maybe there's even a monkey swinging overhead. If you like, try imitating a monkey by swinging your arms and see how your baby reacts. Next, I will tell you a mini story. I'm going to pause between sentences so you can tell it to your baby if you'd like. This story is called The Woman Who Lived in a Tree. Imagine climbing a tree and deciding to stay there. Not just for an hour, not just for a day, but for years. That's exactly what Julia Butterfly Hill did. In 1997, she climbed a 200-foot tall redwood tree in California and refused to come down. The tree, named Luna, was over 1,000 years old, and a logging company was about to cut it down. Julia wanted to protect it, so she turned the tree into her home. She built a small platform to sit on and didn't budge an inch from that spot. Even during storms and freezing nights. Supporters delivered food to her with a pulley system. And she even gave interviews from the tree. After 738 days, the logging company finally agreed to save Luna and the surrounding trees. Julia's bravery proved that one person's dedication can make a difference. Can you imagine living in a tree for 2 years? Tell your baby how you imagine this would be, starting with, I think living in a tree would be... Next, let's look for something that's moving. Maybe a bird flying or a leaf drifting in the wind. Ask your baby to help you look and tell them what you notice. You might find that your baby notices something moving before you do. Babies are very observant. What would it feel like to move like that object moves? Try to imitate the movement. How does it make you feel to move like that? It might seem a bit silly, but think about it as expressing your creativity through dance, with your baby as your audience. Notice how your baby reacts. Does it seem to make them happy? There's just something about dancing that we love to watch. Even from the time we're babies, it's just mesmerizing. Did you know that leaves don't just fall, they actually let go? In autumn, trees form a special layer of cells that gently separates each leaf from its branch. This helps conserve water and protect the tree during winter. What's something you've gently let go of lately? Share your thoughts with your baby. Our next challenge is to find a sound in nature. Close your eyes and listen. What's the closest natural sound you can hear? If you don't hear a sound, you can imagine a bubbling brook, a chirping bird, or the wind whistling through the trees. Tell your baby what sound you hear and ask them if they hear it too. Did you know that crickets can tell you the temperature? If you count how many times a cricket chirps in 15 seconds and add 40, you'll get the temperature in Fahrenheit. If you want, share this fun fact with your baby. Now, let's take turns making nature sounds. I'll play a sound, and then you try imitating it. After that, we'll listen to see if your baby tries to make the sound you just made. Even if they can't actually make the sound, notice if they try. Do their lips move? Do they make another sound? Nature has a lot of big things like trees that tend to draw our attention, but let's look for something really small. Maybe a pebble, a blade of grass, or even an ant. Tell your baby about the tiny things you're noticing. If you were that tiny thing, how would the world look? Share your thoughts with your baby. When we try to see something through someone else's eyes, it's called perspective taking. When you take the perspective of your baby, it can help you be a better parent. How do you think your baby is seeing things right now? How does that differ from how you see them? How is it similar? Talk to your baby about this. If possible, try to get down on your baby's level by lying down on the floor. What does the world look like from there? Describe it to your baby. Are you surprised by anything that you see from this point of view? Ants might be tiny, but their teamwork is mighty. Some ant colonies farm their own food by growing fungus underground. Others build living bridges with their bodies to cross gaps. Tiny doesn't mean small in impact. Now it's time for another mini story. Just like before, I'll read a sentence and then pause in case you want to share it with your baby. Ants are incredible builders, and their teamwork is actually legendary. Have you ever seen an anthill? Well, I'm pretty sure you've never seen one like what I'm about to describe to you. In South America, scientists discovered one of the largest ant colonies in the world. It stretched across 3,700 miles, covering multiple countries. The ants work together like one giant superorganism, digging tunnels, sharing food, and caring for millions of tiny eggs. Unlike rival ant colonies that usually fight, these ants got along and functioned as one massive, peaceful city. Imagine walking through an underground highway that stretches as far as the entire United States. It's pretty cool to think about the power of numbers. It was only by working together that the ants were able to achieve this. What job would you like best if you were an ant? Would you like to defend the colony from predators? Or would you prefer to go out and look for food? Maybe you'd like to take care of the baby ants like you care for your own baby right now. Tell your baby about what you think it would be like to have this job. Let's pause for a moment and check in with yourself. How are you feeling right now? Energized? Calm? A little tired? Whatever it is, just notice it without judgment. Being present with your baby starts with being present with yourself. Take a deep breath, roll your shoulders back, and offer yourself some kindness. You're doing a wonderful job. Now, do you see any circles in the world around you? Maybe the sun, a puddle, or even the pattern on a leaf. Describe the circles you see to your baby. Circles are all around us in nature. Notice how even our own faces and eyes are circles. If your baby enjoys physical touch, try tracing their face with your hand as you smile at them and tell them about all the different things you can think of in nature that are circular. Have you ever seen a sunflower? These circular flowers have a center filled with black seeds, a rich source of nutrients, and yellow petals all around the outside. They can actually grow up to be 15 feet tall. Did you know that they're called sunflowers because they actually follow the sun as it moves across the sky? The technical term for this is heliotropism. Share this fact with your baby if you want. Let's imagine that we're sunflowers, turning our faces towards the sun. Stretch your head up and turn it slowly from one side to the other. Then make eye contact with your baby, smile, and watch how they react. Next, let's find the biggest thing we can. What towers above you? What takes up the most space? Describe it to your baby in detail. Its shape, size, even how it makes you feel. Mount Everest, the tallest mountain in the world, grows a little bit taller each year, about 4 millimeters, because of the shifting of Earth's tectonic plates. Even the biggest things are still changing. You can share this fact with your baby if you want. Try to make your body take up as much space as possible. Reach your arms up in the air and out from your body. Try standing on your tiptoes. A fun fact is that this is actually what you should do if you ever encounter a bear in the wild. How does it feel to make yourself big? Do you usually try to make yourself seem smaller or bigger in everyday life? Talk to your baby about this. Now it's time for another mini story. Just like before, I'll read a sentence and then pause in case you want to share it with your baby. In 2013, Tashi and Nungshi Malik, twin sisters from India, became the first twins in the world to climb Mount Everest. They were just 21 years old. Their father, a retired Army officer, encouraged them to take a mountaineering course to build confidence. At first, they didn't plan to become climbers, but something changed. They discovered a quiet strength in themselves, and they kept going. After months of training, they reached the top of the tallest mountain on Earth. Over 29,000 feet high. It was freezing, the wind was powerfully strong, and they could barely breathe. But they made it. And from the summit, they sent a message. This is for all the girls who are told that they can't. Now, take a moment to just observe your baby. Are they calm, curious, playful, or sleepy? You've shared a lot together already. Remember, It's great to follow their lead. If they seem ready to explore something else, you can pause here or jump ahead until you find something that they enjoy. Can you find something that looks nurtured by nature? A thriving plant, a bird's nest, a patch of soft moss tucked in the shade. Point out what you find to your baby. Explain what makes you think this object has been cared for. What do you think the story is behind this object? Who cares for it and why? Ask yourself, what does it mean to be cared for? Share your thoughts with your baby. In healthy forests, trees share nutrients and chemical signals through underground fungal networks called mycorrhizal networks, sometimes nicknamed the Wood Wide Web. Older mother trees have been shown to send extra nutrients to young saplings, especially their own kin. This isn't just random. Trees actually prioritize care. Share this fact with your baby. Now let's have another mini story. I'll pause in between sentences so you can share it with your baby. There's a scientist named Suzanne Simard who grew up in the forests of British Columbia. She always felt like the trees were talking to each other, even when she was little. And when she grew up, she found out she was right. She discovered that trees are connected underground by tiny fungal threads like a web. And the oldest trees, the really tall ones with huge wide trunks, she calls those the mother trees. These mother trees can tell when a nearby young tree is struggling. And they send it help, nutrients, water, little chemical messages of support. They even seem to recognize their own seedlings, sending them more care than the others. Isn't that amazing? In a forest, even when everything looks still and silent, there's love moving underground. Take a slow look around. What's something that fills you with gratitude? It could be a tree giving shade, a breeze cooling your skin, or just the sight of your baby's face in the sunlight. Share with your baby what you're thankful for. Studies show that just a few minutes of gratitude each day can reduce stress, improve sleep, and strengthen relationships. Even those tiny thank yous, like thanking a tree for providing shade or the breeze for cooling us off, create positive changes in your brain and your baby's too. For extra credit, spend a few minutes finding as many things as possible to be thankful for, and share them out loud so your baby can join in. Think about what your baby might be grateful for too, and articulate it for them. Your baby is definitely grateful to have your care, the food you give them, the way you comfort them when they cry. What else comes to your mind? Next, can you find something that's here right now but might be gone tomorrow? Maybe a fallen leaf, a dandelion puff, a puddle, or a passing cloud? Tell your baby what you find. Some natural things only last a few moments, like morning dew, a flower in full bloom, or a rainbow after rain. In Japan, this idea is captured in the word mono no aware, which means the gentle sadness of things that don't last. It's a reminder to love something because it's fleeting. Now try to move like a dandelion puff. Spin around with your arms out wide. Maybe your baby wants to spin too. Here's another mini story. I'll pause between sentences so you can share it with your baby. A few years ago, in a place called Walker Canyon in California, something amazing happened. It had rained more than usual that winter, and suddenly, almost overnight, the hills turned bright orange. They were covered in millions of California poppies, blooming all at once. People came from all over to see it. They walked slowly through the fields, stopping to point out flowers. I remember seeing pictures of whole hills glowing like they were on fire. But a beautiful, quiet fire made of petals. And then, just a few weeks later, the flowers were gone. The sun dried them up, and the green hills turned back to brown. But the people who saw it, this super bloom, would never forget it. Let's hunt for a reflection. Can you find something that reflects light or an image? Maybe it's a puddle, a shiny rock, a window, or even your baby's eyes. If you're outside, can you find the sky reflected in water? If you're inside, maybe light is bouncing off a wall or a glass. Now take a closer look at the reflection. Can you see yourself? Can your baby see you? Tell your baby what you see. Some animals recognize themselves in mirrors, like elephants, dolphins, and even certain birds. This is called mirror self-recognition, and it's a sign of complex self-awareness. Humans don't typically develop it until around 18 months old, but the foundation starts now through these moments of face-to-face connection. Reflections can also be symbolic. Take a moment to reflect inward. What has this time in nature shown you about yourself today? What's something you want your baby to remember? Not just about the outdoors, but about being with you. Share these thoughts with your baby. We've explored so much today. Take a deep breath and picture all the different things you found. What was your favorite discovery? Tell your baby about it. Choose one of the following questions, or both, to talk to your baby about as we wrap up. What's one thing in nature you'd like to learn more about? Next time you go outside, what will you look for first? Nature is full of surprises. Whether you're deep in a forest or just looking out of a window, there's always something to discover. One of the biggest surprises in nature is the human brain. We keep lear- Nature is full of surprises. Whether you're deep in a forest or just looking out of a window, there's always something to discover. One of the biggest surprises in nature is the human brain. We keep learning new things about human development. And as a parent, you have the remarkable opportunity to see this development happening firsthand. Keep your eyes and ears open, and who knows what you'll discover about your baby and about yourself. Remember, you are an amazing parent. You have the power inside of you to give your baby the very best start in life. In fact, in this adventure alone, you've helped your baby connect over 3 billion neurons. Research shows that babies benefit from hearing just 1,000 to 2,000 words per hour in responsive back and forth interaction. And in this hour, your baby has heard you speak over 5,000 words. If you like, try doing this scavenger hunt again tomorrow. You can even add your own items to look for. I'll see you next time.